Welcome to Salina A&E. My name is David Hawksworth. I'm your host, and I'm here with Susan Hawksworth, who's the director of the Smoky Hill Museum. Susan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're here to talk about the brand new exhibit at the Smoky Hill Museum titled Fire, Embers of Discovery. And it just opened on December 15th. How long will it be on display?
It'll be up until October 7th of 2023.
Okay, so a good long time to come see the exhibit. So obviously it has to do with fire.
Yes.
So what can we expect when we see the exhibit?
This exhibit talks about some historic fires and some of national and local significance that help shape our understanding of fires and how it is what measures we can take to stay safe of the terrible destructions that they could cause.
Okay. So what are some of the national fires that you highlight here?
The Great Chicago Fire of 1871.
Okay, we all know about that.
Yeah. The Iroquois Theater, which also was in Chicago, which was in 1903, and Our Lady of Angels School Fire that was also, ironically, in Chicago.
Okay, so Chicago's kind of a bad place for fires, I guess.
Yes, it was. It wasn't alone in that respect. It
True.
just happened to have some very iconic fires that were that really advanced the knowledge of fire safety.
Well, one fire that comes to mind is the fire in New York, the Triangle Shirtwaist
Factory.
Fire.
Yeah.
So, but what kinds of things did we learn about fire from those tragedies?
Some of the lessons that were learned were how to make exits more safe, what was needed to be able to get people in and out of buildings much quicker, building materials, what burns much faster than others, how to respond to the fires and improve fire response times.
Okay, well, it's kind of bad that it takes a tragedy to get those things figured out, but we are a lot safer now than we were 100 years ago.
That's
for sure.
true, very true.
So what are some of the fires in Salina that you highlight?
Well, ironically, just a few short months after the Great Chicago Fire, Salina had its own downtown fire, the Sad Yule, in December, on Christmas Day, actually.
Oh, wow.
It burned a good portion of downtown. Then there is the H.D. Lee building fire, as well as the barn at Roosevelt Lincoln School,
Okay.
which was later in the 60s.
Okay. Yeah, I remember several fires since my time here, which is almost 25 years now. I remember the St. John's Missionary Fire.
Yes, we do highlight a few smaller fires. Oh, and I forgot the biggest fire that we talk about is our most recent one is the 1982 wildfire that was just west of town.
Oh, okay. I'm sure a lot of people remember that too.
Yes.
So what did we learn from those Salina fires?
Similar lessons that we learned from the national fires, how quickly we need to respond. Communication was a big one in the 1982 fire because there were so many people, volunteer firefighters, volunteer community members, so forth. It was hard to keep those communication lines open, so they used the radio to keep getting word out to people. And other items like that.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the actual exhibit here. What kinds of things? Do we have hands-on activities?
We have quite a few hands-on activities. Fire is very interactive, unfortunately, but fortunately for us, we have a lot of interactives in our exhibit. You can play what's called the flame game and test your knowledge of how to put out small fires or what it takes to put out fire. And if you do that, you put out the fire. If you don't, it still burns. You can test some of go through like a little tiny mini academy of what it takes to detect studying a fire after it's happened to see how it started. So there's some lessons that are taught there, and then you get to try to look at some other pictures to see if you can figure out how they started. And then there is it's not really an escape room, but a puzzle area to learn more about the 1982 fire.
Okay. So hands-on activities for adults and kids.
That's right. Oh, and I forgot, kids, we have a little dress-up area. They can put it on their own fire coats and put out a fire in a little photo op area for them.
Okay. So did you have consultations with the Salina Fire Department in putting this together?
We did use the Salina Fire Department. They helped read over our script because we do talk about what is fire and how it starts and how to investigate. So we had the fire department look over to make sure our information was correct. We also used their historian to help learn about some of the historic fires here in Salina. And the fire department also put out their own fire book, many years ago, I can't remember when, that helped help us decide which fires we were going to look at. We also worked with a fighter from Fort Riley as well.
Okay, so great collaboration there.
Yeah.
What else do we need to know about the exhibit?
It's not typical of our normal exhibits. There aren't as many artifacts as sometimes. And the lighting, as you can probably tell slightly in this picture, it's a little hard, but there are lots of lighting effects and more of an immersive environment to get the feel of being in an area that had gone through a fire.
Okay, all right. Where's the museum located?
We are located at 211 West Iron in Salina, Kansas.
And what are your hours?
We are open Tuesday through Fridays, 11 to 5, and Saturdays, 10 to 5.
Okay. And what's the admission?
Oh, it's a hard one. It's free.
Okay. Well, it's a really very interesting exhibit. I'm sure you'll learn a lot if you come and see the exhibit. And we're looking forward to being able to do that over the next few months.
Yes.
So, well, Susan, thanks very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Salina A&E.